So what in our previous class what we have gone through about different type of microscopy, yes or no? Electron microscopy and light microscopy. I told you about the advantage of electron microscopy over the light microscopy. In case of light microscopy, what we used to do? We used to irradiate the sample with light. It may be sunlight or any LED lamp or anything like that. And in that case, what happened? We don't get that much of resolution or clarity of image, so to say. So that lead to the invention of what? Your electron microscopy. So way back in 1930s around, this electron microscopy concept came into picture. Do you follow? So from Berkeley University, they started utilizing this technique from the theory of Bragg, that Bragg's X-ray diffraction technique. From that concept of electron interaction of matter, they came into picture about this. They started thinking about utilizing these electrons in the form of imaging or magnifying, or so to say, to visualize the material that are in the nano range or that are in such a small range of size that are unable to visualize by naked eye. Okay. So I told you that electron microscopy is all about what? Interaction of electrons with the material specimen. Okay. So that is basically classified into two types in general. So I will be giving you the first historic data of the first introduced electron microscopy, that was the TEM. So transmission electron microscopy came into picture first during the World War II. So then it was scanning electron microscopy. Way back in 1930s, around 36, 37, in that era, they came in to know about, or they started utilizing electron as a source to visualize material in the nano range. Okay. So Rosk and Knoll, they came about this concept of utilizing and designing the scanning electron microscopy. Okay, come. So as I told you, it was Professor Charles Gottlieb in the year 1950s, somewhere you will find also. They started experimenting on using electron and developing a system or equipment that can scan the material and give you an image. Oh, so that give rise to this same scanning electron microscopy. As the name itself sounds, that scanning means it will scan the image many a time and it will give you a picture of that one. So in detail in the working principle we will go about how it scans, what are the function of different parts they are fitted with, and it was commercialized in the year 1965. Okay. So and in the year 1985 or 86, they got Nobel Prize for this electron microscopy technique. As I told you, it is all about the interaction of electron over the specimen or sample or material, so to say. So what this electron interaction will give you a morphological view of the sample, not the bulk view. It will give you idea about the surface view, and that too in a 3D image. Okay, it will scan the surface up to a length of around in 10 to 20 micrometer. I will give you the data up to what extent the light electron energy will be penetrating. Some will go beneath that one, it will transmit through the sample, and in that case we have a different type of spectroscopic instrument, that is TEM. So that will analyze that part. But in case of ACM or scanning electron microscopy, we will go about the morphology up to that much of depth. Okay. And what is the advantage of using this one? Why it is the necessity of coming across of electron interactions? So it gives you, just think of the magnification, and I told you in your previous class, magnification and resolution are different things. In your mobile phones or in your camera also, you go for high resolution parameter. Means more the price of the camera, it gives idea about the resolution parameter. Means magnification means you are making the sample to be appear as much big as possible, but resolution speaks about the clarity of the picture. Do you follow? I told you on that previous class also, if you are going to visualize two dots to the minimum distance possible they are apart. Okay. On that day also I have written a mathematics relating to D and resolution value, the distance, the possible minimum possible distance that can be resolute or that can be easily visualized gives the efficiency of that instrument. Do you follow? So in that case I wrongly pronounced one that Subrat was asking about that numeric, that is actually numeric aperture. I wrongly pronounced normal aperture, is numeric aperture. Okay, so it's also dependent upon the refractive index of the medium it is going through, and in our case it is completely vacuum. I told you, in electron microscopy the system is completely a high tide vacuum system, and it's around 10 to the power minus, I will tell you the data, it's around 10 to the power minus 3-4 around Pascal of vacuum is kept inside, so that in the instrument working principle I will go in detail why that type of pressure vacuum conditions is required, all these things. Okay, so resolution parameter of this scanning electron microscope is around 5 to 10 nanometer, means up to that distance it can make you visualize, that too provided under certain conditions. We have one in our central laboratory, central instrumentation facility, that is JSC's company, and we have this SCM, not FECM. Okay, it's the advanced version of SCM. Then you have also another advanced version of FECM, that is in-lens FECM. Means it's all about the resolution parameter, means how clearly you can visualize the nanomaterial. Okay, and that too depends upon the material property. In certain cases you have a magnified image, but you will go for magnification, but you will not get the accurate resolution in that case. Do you follow? Okay, and how much area I told you. So this much approximate area it will can carry the analysis around. Okay, now these are the electron source. As I told you, it's all about electron interactions. So you need to have an electron source from which this will be getting generated, and that too of high speed electrons you require, because you are going to penetrate the material. Do you follow? So in that process, as you know, usually tungsten filament is also there in your, you might have come across about tungsten filaments. Bulb, usually bulb have contain tungsten filament. In that process also you provide a potential, there is the heating effect in the tungsten filament. Okay, and that radiated electron strikes the gas within and they start fluorescing, and you observe brightness around. Okay, so that type of, here also this tungsten, and this is a single crystal type of tungsten, a single crystal, polycrystal single crystal. In upcoming classes we will come across to know about. And lanthanum, this is actually wrongly written, this is hexaboride, bromine I have written, this is hexaboride, lanthanum hexaboride. Okay, so these are the basic source used in the production of electron. Okay, and in SCM what happens, here I have written that thermonic gun, means the from which the electron are coming, that is termed as gun. Thermonic gun means here the system will be get heated, through the heating effect electron will be generated. And in case of a field emission scanning electron microscopy, that is the SCM case, it will have a field, means that electric field that is generated around, that will help in emitting the electron from the source. Okay, so they provide 3D images, and in the upcoming slides I will show you the sample. You will find it will appear in black and white type, not color. Recently also some images are coming in, FECM images are coming also in colored form. Okay, the specific colors will be there, but usually FECM image comes in black and white type, and black, white and grey type. Okay, no, multicolor you can't have, rainbow type of color there will be not. Okay, but in case of your elemental analysis parameter, you have a accessories associated with this SCM, through which you can analyze the content of or the composition of the system or material, means what atom it contained of, in how much amount also you can have idea about a specific region, but provided the condition is that. Okay, so during the operation working principle I will explain how you can come across these ideas, means how you can analyze the composition of a material, through what effect you can go for. Okay, likewise things. So as I told you, it will appear in white or bright or grey region or black region. In the FECM image you will come to know this. Let me show you one. Here it's, you can see this. These are the regions black, these are bright side, as I mentioned white or bright. or these are gray region, and there are specific conditions, specific cause also behind why such type of image comes to picture. Okay. Okay, this is all about the sample preparation process. Look, we have to collect every information possible and compile it in one. That's why I have made the slide accordingly. Means every sort of information in a brief form I can provide you. The minimum requirement. How to prepare a sample for SEM analysis or FECM analysis? What for that type of process is being followed for preparing the sample in that process. Okay. So usually what happens in case of FECM, the surface is made conductive. Because why it is so? The electron will be striking the sample. Yes or no? So they need to be get conducted and get circulated again. Otherwise they will accumulate. Next electron coming into to come and interact with the sample, they will suffer repulsion. In that process you will have a image. You will find that the system will have a different type of, means blurred type of image, or it sometimes it turned as a charged image. Charged image in the sense when a system is not conducting one. So electron will not come and interact. So in that process also it's appear to be much more brighter and you can't visualize properly. Do you follow? So in that process the system that to be taken for SEM analysis are made to be conducting by using carbon conducting tapes. Okay, there will be a sample holder upon which they will put a carbon conducting material. Oh, over that one a sample will be pasted and then it will be coated with, as I have mentioned here, extremely thin coating of what? Gold or a gold palladium alloy. So we have that type of systems associated available with us. So they make the system conductive so that the electron coming hitting the surface of the sample will again get conducted. So there will be no accumulation and you will have a bright image. These are the things, and look, I will be explaining these parameters in more detail while describing the instrumentation. So if the the insulating species, the coated is conductive material. Okay, this is pore diameter, means in what size the electron will be hitting the surface of the material. They might get scattered up. In that process you are not going to get good image. So it need to be a focused one. Whenever even in your microscopy, in a table microscope or light microscope, what you used to focus, what you are making actually, you are adjusting the objective. How you are adjusting? Now you are focusing the particular light onto the particular material, not so that they won't get scattered up, rather than they would be focused particularly on the material. You will have a good visualization.
Specifically from gold,
it's all about conducting, making it a more conductive one. Other may interact also, may react also. So these are noble materials, so they can have a less interactive property with the sample you are going to analyze, and they show good conductive characters also. Do you follow? Because of that cause. Now, so this is all about the system inside. So this is the SEM image inside. Okay, I have taken a cross section and I have visualized this, made this, and these are the things after the interaction of electron with the specimen. What will be happening? When an electron will be interacting with the specimen, what type of things may take place within. Okay, so one by one let me explain these parts. So this is the electron gold. As I told you, this is made of either tungsten or lanthanum hexabromide, either one. Okay. So lanthanum hexabromide usually a bit costlier compared to tungsten, but tungsten are short living. Do you follow? Means the lifetime is very short, and you have to maintain that type of condition because there will be some gases inside also. So they might get, in certain cases you might have seen that the bulb get fused up. Suddenly, why it is going to get fused up? That because of some gas inside, they will oxidize the tungsten filament and degrade its property of emitting electrons. Yes or no? So likewise things. And remember, inside the chamber high vacuum condition is being maintained. so that this type of oxidation of the filament will not occur. Okay. So I told you no about the range of pressure need to be maintained inside the chamber. It's around 10 to the power minus 4 or 10 to the minus up to 6 around Pascal of pressure is maintained inside. Okay. Then these are the so these are the condensation lens. Okay. This is the electron gone and this is basically a cathode. Here it is. This is the electron gone of tungsten. Okay. This is basically a cathode. So cathode are negatively charged electrodes. This is the electron negatively charged, and this is the anode. So what is the role of anode? So anode will have a slit. So it will focus the electrons coming out of the what? Filament, tungsten filament. Let us discuss about tungsten, taking tungsten as the source of electron. Okay. Any point you have any doubt, you can ask, whatever problem. Now, so here they maintain a potential difference that results in heating the filament and accelerating the electron also. Look here, they have supplied a potential, you can see. Here I have mentioned lanthanum hexabromide crystal, this one is utilized. Here in this case you have the source from which I have taken this picture, he represents or she represents lanthanum hexabromide as the source for electron. Okay. So the potential applied here results in heating and generating the electrons, and these well held chambers, these plates, they are negatively charged cathode systems. Okay. So what they will do, now they will force these electrons to move through the slit, this one, and go to the anode, and again anode will again force the electron to move further in a focused way. That is the main cause of using these things. You might ask, okay sir, electrons are coming, they are negatively charged, so they will get attracted towards to the anode because they are positively charged. So that these scattered electrons or the, so to say, the spreaded electrons will not go into the sample for estimating the surface, for detecting the surface. Rather, these will make the electron, the potential applied, that plays a major role. And in this case, in SCM, you will have a potential range of so to say about around 50 kilo volt of potential is applied to make the electron to move faster. Means within a microsecond of time, it will scan the system. Only it will focus the electron. Look, number of electrons will be coming out of the filament. But the role of these two, anode, cathode, and the potential is to make the electron to move in a focused way and in an accelerated way. Okay. And again, after this anode and cathode, the electron, look, for this region it get focused, again it will get scattered. Yes or no? Now comes the picture of condenser lens. Condenser, as it's simply pronounced as condenser, means it will condense something, means it will make something to go in collective way. Yes or no? So that's the role. And these are, I told you, in case of electron microscopy, the lens is all about what? Electromagnets. Okay. Or these are, so to say, electromagnetic coils. You will have copper coils, in plus 2, in intermediate classes, or in plus 3, you come across about Lorentz law. Do you remember those laws? Lorentz law. You have a magnetic field, current, electron flowing, direction, right hand thumb rule, everything. Yes or no? So same principle is also applied here. Those who want to know more about, they can go to any physics book and they have idea about these things in depth. So what these condensers are all about? Electromagnets. So what they will do? Now they will create a field, magnetic field, and as per that law, the electron will move. Again, it will be get accelerated. Yes or no? There are two condenser lenses, and electron now became a pointed or, so to say, focused beam with high energy. Do you follow? So that it will hit the sample in a focused manner. and it will scan, and it will not leave any inch of the sample. It will give you a complete idea about the area for which it is going to analyze. It will not leave anything at all. Do you follow? Now, after the condenser lens, there is another lens, that is objective lens. So, objective lens itself signifies what? Object means the object you are going to analyze, it is just above that one, so to say, the ultimate lens. Then the beam will go and hit the sample. Okay, again it is also of the same thing, some character. It is also electromagnetic character showing lens. But the thing is that in between these two, okay, in between these two, there is another scanning coil is there. Here not mentioned, a scanning coil is there. Above this objective lens, there is a scanning coil. So what it will do? Look, electron from the source coming down and hitting the sample in a focused manner. But are you going to analyze only a particular point, a particular region? You are going to scan a region, then only you can have an idea. So when you will go and visualize the operation of a SEM out here in our central facility, with our central facility, then only you can have idea how they scan. They will go for different region, which type of image you are going to get. What is your requirement? Accordingly they will produce. Do you follow? So they will scan, so they will adjust this scanning coil. Roster, somewhere it is written roster also. Roster means that the main role is that one. It will search in which region you are going to. So it will make the electron beam to move in around the surface of the material or sample. Do you follow? So that from the region you get, okay, from this part I am going to take an image. So it will start scanning, and you will zoom that one, then you will magnify that one, you will visualize that one. All those things will come into picture afterwards. So that for your requirement you will have an image. Okay. So after the electron beam coming from the objective and hitting the sample surface, this type of phenomena comes into picture. Phenomena means this will be the different type of process comes into picture. What? Look, this is the primary electron beam, means that one coming from the source. Okay, simple one. Then it will hit the surface of the sample. Look, based on its energy content, it will go beneath the surface. It might hit the atom. Some atom may absorb that electron energy. Some electron may get scattered from the surface. Some get reflected from the surface. Some goes beneath and then get scattered. So all will have different type of properties. So accordingly they are named the secondary electrons, backscattered electrons, X-ray electrons, Auger electrons, cathode luminescence, fluorescence, then your transmitted electrons, then your continuum electrons, continuum X-ray. So these are the different type of rays or energy systems coming out of the sample after the interaction of what? Your electron with the sample.
These characteristics X-ray will come simultaneously or
all these will coming at a time, and there are different detectors to capture those things, and the SEM image comes by the capture of these secondary electrons. Secondary electrons, why it is called so? Look, this is the primary electron coming and hitting the surface of the system or surface of the sample. So there will be some atoms. So what it will do? Now it has the energy to knock out the what? Electron in the outer shell. So those are termed as secondary electron, and it is a characteristics of the material. Okay. So the electron, look, the sample may be arranged in different pattern. So electron coming from those things will have a different type of. So what this secondary detector will capture that one, and it is coated with an anodic material, so that it is positively charged. No, it will capture the electrons. Do you follow? So that part results in your formation of what? Your SEM image. Okay. Then comes these Auger electrons are also there. So these Auger electrons means here I written this is Armstrong. Okay, 10 to 30 Armstrong beneath the electrons coming up from the sample, they are termed as Auger electrons. Likewise, the secondary electron will be coming from a depth of around 10 nanometer. So that gives you the area up to which the same image or the same material, same picture we can obtain up to 10 nanometer. Okay, but in FECM we can go beyond that one. Means in micro lens you can have easy visualization, but in the nanometer scale I am talking about, up to 10 nanometer it can go up to go for analysis or scanning. Okay. Then comes this backscatter electrons, and remember this specific electron also provides you valid or important information about the material. Look, this secondary electrons will provide about the image. You will get an image of the material from the secondary electrons. Okay. Then comes the characteristics X-ray. Characteristics X-ray means it will give you idea about the particular material content. That means it is a characteristics property of that particular material. Okay. When this primary electron interacts, some electron goes beneath, look, up to 5 micrometer depth. From there it will give you, that means it will be penetrating the atom to a much more extent compared to these electrons. Look, these primary electron all do not have the same energy. Okay. Some will be going beneath, some will be getting scattered from the surface of different ranges. So these X-ray, characteristics X-ray means they will be going beneath the atom and knocking out the core electron. Have you any idea about XPS? Previously one of my colleague was giving a lecture on XPS or something like that. So XPS, in that case what happened? X-ray hits the sample, it knocks out the core electrons, and to supplement that core electrons, an electron from the upper cell will move. So what it will do? Now it will release some energy in the process of moving from the up to the inner cell. So that energy released falls within the X-ray range. Yes or no? So from that one you characterize, okay, this material is composed of this element, because this particular energy value fits with this atom binding energy or this atom's K cell binding energy, whatever. So these are that means from this value you can have idea about the composition of the material also. Look, scanning electron microscope you get idea about the morphology. Again you can have also idea about the composition. There is a secondary, that is another type of analysis parameter, that is EDS, energy dispersive spectrometer. Okay, in that case also you can know about the composition, content of the system. But it will give you idea not in bulk, means up to the fixed region in which you are making the scan. In that region how much of this one, that one is present. Okay. And these backscatter electrons gives you, from these backscatter electrons you can have idea about the crystallinity of the material also. But we do not go for all this type of analysis, rather we focus mainly on this, okay, this secondary electrons. So from backscattered electrons, look, backscattered electrons are also it goes when the electron beam reaches around less than 1 to 2 micrometer. From that one the electron will get again scattered up, it get backscattered. So to capture all these you have different type of detectors. Look here, X-ray detector, backscatter detector, secondary detector. So they will be capturing all these things. And this backscatter detector, it is just coated just at the mouth of this beam emitter, so to say. Backscatter means it will be scattered back to the source from which the electron are coming. Okay, and the system is completely under vacuum condition. You got idea about this one? Any doubt? Okay, fine. Now this is all about, I told you, this is the operational or schematic presentation of the electron gun. Okay, how it works, what is the type of system you can take, usually taken for electron generation. And I told you the potential difference applied around 1 to 50 kilovolt to accelerate the system, to accelerate the beam of electrons. Next one. Look, here I have written the silent feature. Already I have mentioned all these things. Tungsten filament and lanthanum hexabromide are used as electron generator. And okay, so around this much of Kelvin, the same one. Okay, so around 2000 Kelvin of heating or heat is generated around this one. That much of temperature is maintained. Vacuum condition, I told you. Vacuum condition maintained around 10 to the power minus 3 Pascal for tungsten and 10 to the power minus 4 Pascal for lanthanum hexabromide. Why such type of vacuum condition is maintained? To prevent the oxidation of the filament. I told you all these things. Next one, I told you, I have already said that a potential of around 1 to 50 kilovolt is maintained, and that is to be a DC type of current supply. Area from which secondary electron release. Okay. Now this bright and okay. Now this bright, dark and grey type of portions or regions, why it is coming? Remember, this bright region simplifies or implies that these area contain large number of secondary electron sources. In simplified manner means these contain more atoms. Okay. For example, this is the sodium niobate system. And this is Maxine system. This one is been designed by Lijal and Biswal, and this is by Neemun Priyadarshini. Okay. So in this case, what happened? This region appears to be bright, means these are emitting more number of secondary electrons. Do you follow? The area which appears bright suggests that that region releasing more number of secondary electrons. The grey region means less, and the black region means no emission, secondary emission taking place. So that's how the image comes to, or that's how the image appears in the desktop or in the monitor. So that part is just been narrated here, and it gives a 3D image. Whereas in case of a TEM, you get a 2D image. It goes through, no? Transmitted through. So that I told you about the backscattered electrons, and the characteristic X-ray gives idea about the crystal phases and the composition of the system. Here I have given an image, though it appears to be a bit blur. I have collected this one from Google, so the image quality is not that high. Okay. So magnification, look, this is lanthanum hexaboride filament using image, this is tungsten, and this one is your electron field emission gun, thermal field emission system, means this is a FSM image. Look the difference, you can easily visualize. Okay. And this is the filament, tungsten filament. This one is your lanthanum hexaboride or cesium hexaboride crystal. These are all this is a single crystal, and this get thermonic emission source, and these are field emission source. I will go in detail about the field emission source, that is in FSM part. Okay. Up to this point, you are clear? Now this one is associated with us, EVO 18 SEM image, and these are the lacunas or shortcomings associated with SEM. Bulk to carry, look, these are the things. There should be assessor cooling system, because high amount of heat will be getting generated out there. I told you the temperature range. So in order to neutralize the temperature range, this high one, there should need to be a good cooling system around. Then must to be maintained a constant, as I told you, DC condition is required. So power fluctuation will be there, filament will be get damaged. Okay. this the room should be vibration free, all these things, because you are taking image and you are what, you are using the electron source as the primary one to scan the system. If there will be vibration, just think of the type of image you are going to get. So whenever you go for SEM analysis, they will tell you that okay, you stand away from the instrument. Okay. Next one. Now comes the slide representing what? Your field emission scanning electron microscope. So look, I told you that the magnification of SEM is around what? Lakhs or up to 3 lakhs maximum based on the sample quality. But here you can go up to 5 lakh magnification. Do you follow? 5 lakh and your resolution will be in more less than 5 nanometer. Just think how clearly you can visualize in a SEM image. I will show a image of a FECM compared to your SEM. In the previous slide also I have given a picture SEM and FECM, that the field emission image, the lanthanum hexaboride image and the tungsten image. And those filaments are used in SEM or FECM. Okay, these are cathode guns. Scanning electron provides narrow probe. Okay, so this narrow probe, initially also I have written that one in the first slide. Narrow probe means the electron, the point from which electron is coming. I will show you one slide in which you will find that region from which the distance, the width of that region from which electron actually coming and hitting the sample. Electron probe, and that is very narrow in case of your FECM. So it will be more focused. Okay. So this is the field emission tip. Means here also you will be applying high, look, in that case it is heating effect. You are heating and electron getting generated. But here you will be applying high voltage, and in that process there will be electron ejection from the tip, and the tip size or radius is around 0.1 micrometer. Let's just think of, from that part electron will be coming out. Okay, and the field, the accelerated field is around, means accelerated field here I means the potential that is maintained by the cathode and the anode. So that accelerates the electron coming from the source. So that will be around your 200 to 300 around. In some books also it was written 200 to 300 kilovolt around. Okay. Here also 1 to 50 kilovolt here I have written. And one more thing, out of all these energy utilized, I told you different type of radiations will be coming, different type of energy sources. Some will be backscattered electrons, some have X-ray characteristics, likewise things. So out of that we can think of 10 kilo electron volt are utilized for scanning purpose, and rest will be utilized for the purpose of what? Your composition detection or crystallinity, likewise things. So this is the tip image I have just presented. From this tip electron will be coming out. Look out. Here two anode. In your SEM there is one anode, but in case of FECM you have two anode. This is first anode and this second anode. Means they will be making the electron to move more faster and more focused way. Other accessories will be there. Means your second condenser will be there, objective lens will be there, the operation scanning coil will be there. Other things will be there, and the different types of detectors will be there. Only difference is what? In that case heating effect. In SEM you heat the coil or filament and generate the electron. Here field will be, electric field will be making the electron to generate from the source. And this tip is very important in generating that electron, and it will be coming with high speed. So you will have a much brighter image of the sample compared to the SEM. Okay. This is accelerating voltage, extraction voltage. Okay, likewise things. This is the tip of, and other other type of principle coming after this secondary electron are the same working principle. Okay. Next, this one, the tungsten tip is of radius I told you of 0.1 micrometer and very sharp, and the electric field at the tip is around, just think of 10 to the power 7 volt per centimeter square. That much of what your electric field is at the tip of the tungsten material. Okay. And vacuum, in that case you have a vacuum of around 10 to the power minus 3, but here you need to have a vacuum of 10 to the power minus 6 Pascal. Why it is so? So to avoid the bombardment of residual, so what will happen during the process of ejection of electrons from the tip, so the gases around, you have made the vacuum, but still there will be some amount of residual gases. So what they will start accumulating on the surface of the tip and they will damage the tip. Means damage in the sense, means the amount of current, electric current here means the electron flow is current. So the amount of current or the electron coming out of the tip will get reduced, and in that case what you will have a fluctuate, or you will have a blot type of image. The image quality or the brightness of the image or resolution of image will get ended up. Okay. So in order to avoid that one, this much of vacuum condition is maintained inside. The electron are pulled out of the tip by strong electric, I have in this one a strong electric field is created to make the electron to come out of the tip quickly. Okay. And the electron probe diameter, in the next slide there will be a, now the tip is placed in a vacuum of 100 nanopascal or better. Even in that condition molecule contaminating the tip cause flux. Okay. Even in that condition also there can have a contamination of what, your tip of the filament. So how to avoid that one? They what they do, now they sometimes heat the cathode tip at a temperature around 200 degrees Celsius, 2000 degrees Celsius. Even maintaining that much of vacuum condition, still there can be there is a chances of making or getting the tip contaminated with the residual gases. So what they do, by with the time they heat the system, the tip, so that the gas get evaporated out, or they warm the system, means regular basis they go for to re-evaporate the condition, and under that one a 100 nanopascal can be maintained and the reaction, the scanning system can go up. Okay. So these are the SCM image, FECM image. This system has been reported by our group. Okay. The high and low and high magnification FECM image, these two of bismuth vanadate, and the corresponding low and high magnification indium sulfide. This two is indium sulfide. Vasudev Boral, a fellow, is working out here. Previously was working and he got his PhD, and now he is doing something else. So he made this system. Look at the quality of the image and how up to what extent you can go.
So those are the scales?
Yes, in 50 micrometer scale, and this is the more resolute one, 2 micrometer. This is the 1 micrometer scale, and this is 500 nanometer scale. Means you are resoluting.
So resolution is scale, like how much we resolute is the scale?
Yes, resolute. Look here, this scale simplifies your one type of, yes, you are resoluting that one. No, you are moving to that much of range of scale, what scanning range. You are fixing that. Okay, now you are analyzing. You are resoluting this one. And this system, I designed this one. This is a cerium of FECM image. Okay, look out the magnification, and this is also the same system. These things, this is the, so to say, what, your magnified one and also resolute one. In certain cases you will have good magnification and resolution, but in every cases you have a good magnification doesn't mean a good resolution can be there. I told you. So this one. a magnified image or resolute image, so to say. It is more clearly visible, representing what it composed of, means how the systems in been arranged to form these spheres. Okay. This electron, this is a SEM and this is the FECM type, electron gone. Everything I told you, look, the temperature maintained around 1500 degrees Celsius. I told you about what, 2000 Kelvin. So it is coming around, no, 1700, 1800, 1500, different type of machines are on different type of temperature range. This is the filament and this is the, well, this is the cathodic groove. And look out this probe. This probe is around 5 to 50 micrometer. But here in your field emission or FECM, the probe is around 5 nanometer. That's why electron scanning systems are more, so to say what, or electron scanning microscopes gives you a more brighter image because of the range up to which it can scan. Look in light microscopy, what it go in visible region, means 500 nanometer ki 700 nanometer, but here you go about 5 nanometer, means up to that much of distance it can resolute, it can visualize.
In case of say, we are providing a potential for the heating process.
Heating?
Electron. But in case of FECM, we are providing a potential to eject one electron
From the tip. There is also heating effect taking place, but here heating not. Look at the temperature, look at the potential here. Exactly. And in, if you are going to compare SCM, and these things will come in exam, so to say. Okay, instrumentation and all these things. But you need to have idea about what it is composed of, what type of condition, what is it is made up of, so that when you will go and face an interview, you will have idea about, okay, you are operating same or you have gone for same analysis, you need to have idea about what it content of. You follow? So these are the different benefits and limitations associated with FECM SEM. Thermonic emission, electron results in substrate cannot not occur in the field emission. Okay, this thermonic emission sometimes result in surface contamination, means charging of system, but in SCM very rare chances of charging systems. And in case of SCM, you need to coat the material with conductive materials, but in many cases in FECM there is no need, you put it on the aluminum wafer also, you can have an analysis. Do you follow? So resolution, better resolution you can have in FECM, the conductive layer, so everything I have mentioned here. So this much of vacuum condition is maintained during the operation to ensure electron stability and prevent contamination of the cathode. FECM electron source suffer low beam. Okay, so these are some of the important associated points of FECM. What? Now the crossover diameter is less, means the electron coming from which region? Crossover diameter. Then the spot diameter also less compared to the thermonic emission. These things. Then the more coherent and energy spread will be low. Okay, the brightness will be more compared to the thermonic. I told you all these things. This one you can go for. This is the energy dispersive spectrometer. From this one you can have idea about the composition of the system, what it contain, what atoms it contain or whatever. Okay, so this can be gathered, the information relating to the content can be gathered from the X-ray coming out of the sample, characteristics X-rays. Okay, so I told you, the characteristics X-ray means that X-ray energy is for a particular type of atom. So these are the various processes, as you know, when energy interacts with electron, these things takes place. There will be Auger electrons, there will be X-ray electrons, and these are the images, and this is the color mapping image, and this is the EDX image. The image is not that much visible, so look out here. a particular binding energy in kilo electron volt. Remember this scale. In Viva, in defense Viva, they used to ask, if you have that type of graph, then what is the x-axis unit, what is the y-axis unit, likewise things. So you need to have idea. Okay. So from that one, this is the color mapping. Elemental color mapping is also there. Means for a particular oxygen atom is there, or chromium is there, or Syria is there, you will assign a particular color. So where Syria is the region in which of the sample Syria is there, it will make that region of that color, so that you can, while making a claim regarding the distribution of elements in your sample. Okay, I have made a composition of A and B, and the B is at this part of the A. You have made a tube, so to say, and you claim that at the tip of the tube or at the surface or inside A, B is attached. How to claim? How to justify that one? How to justify a claim? You can have a what elemental color mapping image. You will find that B will be only in the inside of the core, and A will be in the shape of a rod, or you have a sphere and a rod attached to each other. Sphere is B and rod is A. So you give sphere, let us Syria. So all Syria oxides are forming the sphere. Okay, while rod is been of manganese oxide or manganese sulfide, whatever. Okay, molybdenum sulfide, so to say. Rod is there. So Syria and oxygen, you specify some color to that one Syria. So Syria will appear in which form? In spherical form. That color will appear in spherical form. So and the molybdenum will be appearing in rod form as rod shape. So in that process you can distinguish. So these are our requirement while interpreting our SCM or FECM or EDX data. From EDX data you will represent the composition of the system, and accordingly you will correlate it with the XPS. Remember, okay. So EDX will be correlated with the XPS, or elemental mapping with the distribution of the content of the system. In certain cases also they ask about the composition, and you have to verify it, or you have to give the information from the elemental composition analysis or EDX analysis. Somewhere you will find this as EDX because the X-ray is coming, no? So that's why, or EDS, whatever you can write. Sample purity you can write also here. From this data you have a sample containing of molybdenum sulfide or GCN, whatever, graphitic carbon nitride, means it is composed of only carbon and nitrogen. So your EDAX image will show only what? Peaks of carbon and nitrogen. So sample purity you can claim that one, and you can correlate accordingly with the XPS. Okay, this one gives me a information regarding my content, and XPS also valid the same. So my system is okay now. You follow? So that is all about. So any doubt, anything you can ask. And okay. So what is our requirement in SCM interpretation? You will get an image, SCM image. You have designed a rod or any particular type of morphology, cube or a hexagon or a seat or likewise things. So from FECM you can give the shape, morphological idea, but that too of the surface. More detail about the morphology you will have idea from the TM. Then about the fringe or about the lattice arrangement you will have idea about the HRTM. Do you get my point? Then a crystallite character or crystalline character you will have a CAD, selected area electron diffraction technique. So in successive classes I will go through all these things. So any more requirement? Any questions? So now you are ready. If I give a same image, you can interpret. Okay. So tell me about this one. How to interpret this one? How will you present this one in your paper? So these are all cubes. okay, having sharp edges. So you can represent accordingly. That means the designed sodium niobate is of a cube type of morphology with sharp edges. And in certain cases also from our lab, people have shown different facets. Facets means different planes of the crystal. Here also. These one sphere. These are also. And these are rice type of morphology. Koda. Which one? Oh, this one. Look, when you will first you will put the exactly. So as per your requirement, you will check. Okay, from that region you take an image. I have designed a cube type of morphology. But when the scanning will be done, you will have in the micrometer scale. So everything will appear to be similar type because they are in nanometer, no? If your image is in micrometer, then you can easily visualize. But if your image in nanometer, sample size in nanometer, then you have to go with more depth in that process. You will resolute. Okay, from this region you take. Okay, look. While synthesizing nanomaterials, may not in all the region you will have a similar type of morphology. Need to have, but based on the condition, might somewhere you might have a cube, and in some places the nucleation of the cube is taking place. Means up to some extent it has been of the cube shape, but not a perfect one. So then you will make adjustment and zoom it. Okay, now I got the required image. So in that process, he just make this spheres to be more clear. He zoomed that one, or he resoluted that one. This one also, here also. Look, you will find different type of rods. Yes or no? Means the system is going on in the process of nucleation. Already few has already been developed up to the extent, and few are on the process. Means if the condition may be, if you vary the condition in that process, there might be chances that they will also develop to something, and these are get combined to form this one. So accordingly we will interpret. You follow?